Hey, how you doing?
Good, Mario.
Armando Nunez, uno de los artistas de Chicano Park, que recently on Facebook we saw that you were mentioning that you were in the hospital, and it's not the first time because of your condition for many years. At least you'll talk to us about that, but it concerned me and many others. We always wish you the best in your health and so on. And look at you looking as usual, just as good. But I understand that that those circumstances actually woke me up to say that I called my friend Horacio and let's do an interview with Armando. We did a film about Chicano Park when we were renovating it, and we were kind of short-sighted and focused on just on one of the murals. And I always wish I kind of reach out to you also in the interviews, but it was the focus here. So we still want to perhaps somehow capture a bit of your life, to tell us where you come from and about your work. Where were you born?
Well, basically, actually, I was born in Chihuahua, Mexico, and I was there until I was almost 15 years old. And then I came into the States. I went to El Paso, where I spent a few years there with my family. I went to high school there, and then I came to San Francisco, and then I moved down the line. I always wanted to be in California ever since I can remember. Since I was young.
Yeah.
I can remember, being 5 or 7 years old. And I was already thinking California.
Dreaming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dreaming.
And so basically what I did is I just traveled down the line. I lived in Long Beach. And
¿Con tu familia?
No, I was single. Yeah. And so I landed in San Diego, and I just fell in love. I felt, this is it.
How old were you?
I was 18.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 18 years old. And so that's where I met my wife, as a matter of fact. I met her the second day I got here.
Son.
Yeah, it's funny. She was still in high school. And
beautiful.
So actually what happened is that I started roaming and learning about San Diego. I just fell in love with San Diego. This is it. This is it for me.
What year was that around?
This was in
early 60s.
1970.
1970 already?
Well, actually, it was 70, well, 69, 70.
Yeah, right around Chicano Park takeover then.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Were you there?
Well, actually, let me tell you what happened. Was I was walking around Balboa Park, and then I ran into the Centro Cultural, and I walked in. It was the new Centro. Not the fur building.
That was 71, 72, 73.
Yeah, somewhere around that time, yeah. So I walked in and I saw that I had so much in common with what was happening. Mm-hmm. By the way, I was painting already in my apartment. I used to live right there in San Diego on 2nd Avenue.
Downtown?
And people used to come, oh man, you're good, you should really. And so I started believing in, that I was good. So I went to the Centro, and I met all kinds of people. I met Victor. I met you, I think, at that time. I don't know if you remember, yeah. So I met all kinds of people, and then we started singing, because I used to be a singer to begin with. So
play an instrument?
No, I used to sing.
Just sing, yeah.
Yeah, and so everybody was just dancing, singing, and everything was groovy.
La Chicanada.
Yeah, La Chicanada. And so I just felt comfortable. And then from there we wwent on to Chicano Park. It had just been taken over at that time. And so this was in 1970.
The takeover, 1970.
Yeah, it was. I was there in 1970.
Yeah.
So then it just tumbled on from there.
Right.
And I've been involved with Chicano Park ever since that time.
Yes.
I mean, I've done a few pieces there.
Tell us about your first one.
the first mural that we did is Toltecas en Aztlán, which is a historical wall. And then another group of people were painting right across the street.
That was us, Caca.
Quetzalcoatl, yeah, Caca. Yeah. Well, I belong to Caca.
Right.
If you remember. But and so we just kept going back and forth.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. We both did it together, as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly. Everybody was involved in doing this, doing that.
Exactly.
And so, and then we used to go to Cuatro Milpas to eat every day because that's all we could afford. I remember when the place where...
What you mean? I can afford more, but I still go there.
Oh, yeah. I remember it was 75 cents a plate.
Oh, yeah, I remember
Frijoles, arroz y chorizo in tortillas. And then the sodas were 25 cents. So, I mean, you can't beat that.
In 1960, when I got here from Peru, I was 12. We went through Cuatro Milpas on the second day or something. Found out that they had the 10 roll tacos for $1, and they're the founders. I think they're the creators of the roll tacos. I mean, that's what I heard
amazing.
anyway.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's amazing.
Cuatro Milpas is still there.
Yeah, good memories. But we can see now what Chicano Park has become, and the evolution that the Barrio Logan has gone through. And so, it makes me very proud to have been part of that history.
Yes.
Of course, there was another side of me. I remember at that time, I got a job with the Sweetwater Union High School District as a media specialist.
Oh.
And then so I was involved with my job.
Yeah.
And then we got married. My wife and I got married. We had a child. And so my focus began to shift a little bit. I got more involved with, you got to set your priorities, correct?
Yeah. Your career, your job.
Yeah. So if, I had to work. I had my wife. I had a child, and so.
But you're doing something that you like, media.
Yeah, exactly. I'm always doing art. I've always done art.
You're an artist.
And so, like I said, your priorities changed a little bit. I wasn't involved with Chicano Park as much as I wanted because I just didn't have the time. And so, so what happened at that time is that I began to expand my field of dreams. I started doing other stuff. I got involved with film, video. I suggested the idea to the Sweetwater District at that time that we should have cable in all the schools, all the high schools.
Because they didn't yet at that time.
I brought all the equipment. I brought some engineers.
You got it going.
They looked at it and they say, "Oh, you're crazy. This will never happen." And look at it now. I mean, I was thinking in those terms because I thought that the media, TV, would be in constant communication with everybody as we are now. But in those days, they thought I was ridiculous, especially when I started mentioning the numbers, that we were talking about. But anyhow, that's just one of the issues.
You're an innovator. I always knew that.
Well,
you're very inventive and creative.
Yeah. I've invented a few things in my life. You
solve solutions. You have to find solutions.
Yeah, exactly. We were just talking before this interview here. There's always a solution for every problem. What you got to do is you got to have your attitude. You got to have a positive attitude.
You can conquer it.
Yeah, and no matter what it is. Although I've been kind of blessed with so many ailments, physically, that I always try to rise above. Come out. And so that's part of the attitude that we have, that I personally have. Of course, all of these philosophical way of thinking, they're my own personal way. I don't stress that for everybody to think that way, but it's worked for me.
Hey, it's you.
So
right.
I mean that's So that's basically, and my art reflects that.
Exactly,
because,
I was about to say that.
Because my art is not just Chicano or Mexican or this or that.
No.
My art, like I see the world as one. I don't see a tribe here, a tribe over there. We're all tribal, no matter how. But I see the world as a whole thing.
Yeah, we're all humans.
Like, I got a lot of followers that follow me from Europe, Russia. I mean, crazy people that, I post some of these crazy images
Yeah.
that I don't know where they come from. But
That you made.
yeah, that I
Yeah.
made, and so
Other crazy artists that get back in touch with you. I
because
gotta do that.
yeah, because I don't get too ideological to begin with.
Yeah.
Ideology is one thing.
Yeah.
My interests are in becoming, learning the craft and learning new crafts. And
The
if you
medium.
master it, like Picasso used to say, when you master the craft, you can start breaking the rules. But before that, don't even attempt to break the rules because
Yeah.
you'll be criticized to death.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what I do is I try to master the craft. I work on the craft until I got it, and then I start using it. Where it applies, right? So as far as ideology, especially political ideology, I do what I can. I mean, like the sign, the Barrio Logan sign.
Yeah.
Well, that helped me because I've done a lot of sculptures.
Right.
And so I knew working with engineers, safety
Yes.
issues, this, electrical, this and that you have to use certain rules. You cannot just go haywire. And so there's a lot of restrictions. And I had to cut certain things that I wanted, like I wanted this thing to be solar energized.
Right, solar.
And so now I'm looking at the possibility of hooking up with a bridge since they're going to light it up.
Right.
Solar
Put
panel.
the panels there.
But at the time we didn't have the money. I suggested it to the poor district.
Yeah.
That it should be solar energized.
And what would you put that on? On the bridge? On the bridge itself? You
No.
should, on that building next door, on the roof.
the cells can be hidden anywhere.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
You
There's
got
no
a building
problem.
right next door.
Yeah.
Like they got a huge roof.
Yeah, the cells can
It
be
can still
put
happen.
anywhere, roofs around the neighborhood, and they just stream the line into the into the brick. But it wasn't possible at that time. They only gave us. They say, well, we're gonna give you $280,000 to do this thing. All right, no problem.
Wow.
So I said, no problem, we can do it. It ended up costing $1.3 million. So my reaction was, let's go with it.
Yeah.
Let's just do it.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll say sorry later. But basically, that's
worked
how it
out.
came about. And so,
Fantastic.
I see a lot of progress. I did about 4 different sketches of the Mercado project there, and at one point it almost came reality. But then the real estate market, that's when it crashed. So it was kind of hard.
We did something like that together, remember?
Yeah.
Because what happened was in Chicano Park, they had the 70s was very active. The 80s had something going, but by the 90s things kind of cooled down a bit. Late 80s, then it was like we didn't see each other. I didn't see any of the Chicano artists. And then by 1995, because I had been a commissioner, I was able to put things together. And as a tribute to Cesar Chavez, I created a tribute to Cesar Chavez with a new school of art, Chicano school of art, that we would call the groupings that we will all do. All the Chicano Park, original Chicano Park artists would come together. But where were they at? I didn't meet anybody. I didn't see you. I didn't see Victor, anybody. But it was that miracle of the retrofitting when the councils was coming. They say they were going to destroy murals. Everybody came together. And wow, we were able to see each other because I hadn't seen you nor Victor for years.
But
there we were at that meeting, man, at the Barrio Station.
A lot of things have happened, not physically being there at the place, but actually in the background. When you're making deals to get something going, sometimes they're held at different parts. Like I had to make a few trips to the poor district, to the city. To see the council
when
people.
You did your
when you make your presentations, and so a lot of the things you say, well, I didn't see or I didn't. It's basically that we're all trying to do whatever it is possible that we can do at different places physically, but we all have the same intention of advancing Chicano Park now
and the experience.
Yeah,
we were the
yeah.
first ones to start something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You know, it never been done before.
Now, everybody's talking about gentrification and this and that, and people get upset, and that's okay to get upset about gentrification.
Yeah.
But I call
do
it
something about it.
I call it evolution.
Yeah.
I call it evolution because
progress.
Yeah. If
you want to be progressive,
if you remember 43 years ago, not too many people visited Barrio Logan. Now you see a lot of crowds.
Yeah.
Now we got galleries, we got traffic going, businesses opening, the marketplace.
Yeah.
Everybody goes shopping from downtown. It's progress.
we're making Logan great again.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'm not too concerned about this gentrification problem. You can have your own personal opinions about it.
Yeah.
But I like to call it evolution.
Yeah.
And basically is what it is.
Plus, it's being taken care of. It's a lot of young people, our students, our kids. The new generations are taking that torch up ahead.
Yeah.
We're estamos jubilados, we're kind of retired.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, we're still in the battle.
Yeah.
And we're still helping and we're still pushing forward because it
Exactly.
doesn't end here. It's gonna continue forward.
It'll continue, yeah.
And that's why it's important to do this documentation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the young people, like you say, we're passing the torch on to them. They got the energy. They got
the background because we gave it to them.
We give it to them, and so they got the
sample
a certain vision, for the future,
Mhm.
and it will continue happening, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm not too concerned about
details right now. Yeah,
and
you got your own problems too in a way.
In fact, I was talking to you a little earlier,
Mm.
and I remember a saying that my father used to say.
Yeah.
He said, "Always take care of number one. If you don't take care of number one, you cannot take care of number two."
There ain't no more numbers.
Okay?
Ooh.
So my number one thing
Yeah.
was taking care of myself and my family.
Right.
My family comes before anybody.
Right.
And then if I have time, then I'll go and do whatever needs to be done.
Of course.
But you always, I've been married for 43 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that easy to do that, especially when you're an artist,
Yeah.
because you get kind of wacky, crazy, and
I know, man.
start tripping out.
No wonder.
But always try to come back to reality.
Mm.
Always. So take care of number one.
Yeah.
If you don't take care of number one, you're not going to take care of number two.
Exactly.
Even if you try.
And you're doing it. You're a living sample of it.
I try to
tell us, man, what happened to you, man?
I try to balance things out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's a balancing act.
It's a balancing act. But this balancing act is like, I'm not sick, but I'm going to get sick. I'm
Yeah.
coming.
And
Everybody gets sick, right?
And you got to have
You
a
got
good
sick.
attitude. You got to have a good attitude.
There you go. That's what I want to hear, man, because I want to learn from you, man. So what should I do,
If I would have closed my eyes when I was in the hospital, I've never been this sick before. Never.
What do you mean close your eyes?
I closed my eyes and, I would close my eyes and say, Charlie, that's it for me.
Whatever happens.
I refuse to do that.
Right.
We're only
you keep
here.
them open, you mean. You don't close your eyes.
That's exactly.
I'm going to be alive.
It's called your attitude. And so you gotta shift gears and say, you're not gonna take me this time.
Regardless,
No,
a fight.
Charlie.
Is it a fight? Is it a battle?
Yeah. And so
Damn.
that's how you get your attitude going again. And attitude is everything. We all know that, right?
Mm.
And so if you have a good attitude, you can make it through the hardest times.
And we can see that with your artwork, right? On your artwork, when we look at the pieces, we can feel what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, I think it's it's attitude. Basically it's attitude. Attitude, covers a big field, and so as long as you keep aware that you're not going to change your attitude, you're not going to give up, you can accomplish anything.
Yeah.
Anything in life.
Yeah.
Even we're only here for a brief moment compared to eternity. So life, what is life? We're only here like blink of an eye and you're gone.
But we all got a mission. You had your mission, and you've been able to give to the people. You're leaving something behind. You've been an example. We've been examples, and to think that there has been examples before the Chicano movement, I'm not sure about that. But for sure now is that we started something that is no ending to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
makes us feel good, doesn't it?
Yeah,
we're part of that. And
we're part of history. I mean, you know, we are history.
We are history, but we gotta leave something from history.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They can see us now that we're gone, and they still can see us. You know, but how about something in writing? Are you writing something?
Well, I'm writing.
You're writing?
Yeah. You know,
right. Are you going to publish something?
I'm more of a philosopher than an artist. To
you
be
put
honest
it down?
with you. Oh yeah, yeah. I was writing a thing about the soul.
Mm-hmm.
The soul.
The soul.
Yeah, the soul. You know,
Alma.
and you know what the soul is? It's the sun.
Yeah.
When the sun sends its rays onto the chemicals that exist on Earth, life is born.
Yeah.
That's where we come from.
Right.
So when we go back to the Earth, minerals, because we're made of minerals, carbon, calcium, las uñas, you know, our hair,
everything.
We go back to the Earth.
Carbons, become dust.
Yeah. I mean, I see it from a scientific point of view because I understand the mythical end of it. And different tribes have different myths about it. Yeah. You know, but it basically is all the same. Yeah, because we come from the sun.
Our father.
Yeah. We come from the stars. When the big explosion happened, the Big Bang, right?
Yeah.
Stars were formed, and some of them landed here on this planet.
That's one of those guys.
And that's what we're made of.
Yeah.
But the sun is the light, and when the sun penetrates through the darkness,
lands.
We're born.
And water, because there's water.
Well, yeah, the chemicals.
The sun shines everywhere, but there's no life everywhere. It's got to have the water.
Right.
On Earth.
When the sun, when we die, basically what we do is we dissolve back onto Earth, and the ray of light goes back to the sun.
Yeah, the ray of light, your soul.
Yeah, the soul goes back to the light.
So it's a ray of light. We are a ray of light.
Yeah, we are. I mean, electricity. What is electricity? Can you see it? No, you can't see it.
No.
But it makes things move. You know, it's been called a mystery. You know, if you put it in mythical terms or whatever.
They religions out of it.
I like to understand the mechanics.
Yeah.
That's why I like the science.
Yeah.
And so that is my philosophical interpretation of the soul.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you apply that into how you heal yourself? Do you do it? You say an attitude, right? It's attitude, but do you do yoga, or do you go to the church more, or your diet has changed, or how do you feed yourself to maintain a health level so you don't go down? You know, earlier you were saying it was a stress. It was talk to us. How do you get sick, man, and then how you get out of that?
Yeah. Well, basically, we all get sick, and we all know that, right?
Eventually, we should.
I mean, you know, the minerals that control our body sometimes diminish. They go back, and then they leave our body. So then we start feeling lopsided. And so the idea that I have is that I try to keep a balance between the two, especially now that I've experienced my sickness. Somebody that hasn't experienced that level of sickness doesn't understand.
Right.
So basically what you do is you try to balance things.
The minerals? Balance the minerals?
Yeah, the minerals.
How do you do that?
Well, what your body's made of, right? Again, I go to scientific explanation, not a mythical explanation. Okay?
It's medical, right?
Yeah, it's medicine. Medicine, I mean...
Health.
Yeah, I mean, where does medicine come from? From the earth.
Yeah, the plants.
Yeah, except they dissected it. They put it into, a formula. So basically, what it is that we feed the body. Because remember that the mind is what controls everything. Without the mind... nothing functions.
Well, without the stomach, the mind won't function.
Well, even the stomach, is controlled by the mind.
Yeah.
So if you just don't forget, I never forget that the mind is the most powerful thing that you possess.
Yeah.
Okay? Forget about spirituality and this, religion and this. All religions are man-made.
Yeah.
Like some people are Catholic, some people are Muslim, Hindus, whatever. You got to look at the history of religion. And at the top, you have Hinduism, right? Which is the oldest religion, right?
Yeah.
what the
Well,
what the Catholicism, Christianity did is it picked
adopted that.
It picked the best
best
parts
of it.
of every religion that had existed
Yeah.
when Jesus Christ came.
Yeah.
And so that formed a particular religion, which is
Yeah.
Christianity,
Yeah.
right? And we would call ourselves Christians and everything. But anyhow, that is basically the transition, how we arrive. And that's, it's man-made spirituality.
Right. Okay, that's right. But I'm talking about the minerals. How do you balance the minerals? Do you take in minerals that you're missing? Like if you're missing iron, then you take iron? How do you take it in?
all the food, what you see growing here, everywhere,
Yes.
contains minerals.
Yes.
There's some that are more concentrated in certain minerals.
So you gotta take those.
Well, you try to eat that.
What is it? Like what?
It depends on what you're talking about.
It's a list of things.
Like potassium, for instance. I cannot take too much potassium. People say, well, eat nopales. Well, nopales are full of potassium.
How can they tell you eat nopales? They don't know what they're
For
talking
my
about.
diabetes.
Oh,
They say, you gotta eat nopales. Well, you just can't do that.
Can't live on nopales only, right?
No. Potatoes full of potassium, carbohydrates.
Okay. I got it. Okay, there's a lot of things you can take. But what you can't take? I mean, there must be something that don't take that because that's fucking poison that gave you diabetes to start with. What is that?
It's not that simplistic, really.
Really?
Basically,
I heard it's sugar.
Well, what it is, what sugar is? If you put it under an electric microscope, it's glass, broken glass.
Yeah.
And it destroys your blood system. Imagine eating broken glass.
Yeah.
It's going to destroy your stomach, right?
Well, that's why I drink
That's
agave. I don't use that.
Well,
that stuff
it doesn't
anymore.
matter.
Sugar doesn't.
I'm just telling you
But
what
do you eat sugar
is. What sugar is.
Do you eat sugar?
Everything, just about everything contains sugar, Mario.
Especially that.
It's impossible
Corn
to
syrup.
stay away from sugar. But you got to understand what sugar is.
But you got diabetes.
Yeah, but that's another issue. I'm breaking down what you asked me.
Okay.
So basically, what it is, you got to understand the chemical composition of the minerals that you're taking.
Yeah, you should. Yeah,
And
you can find out, and I found out
and
too.
the food. What contains what, and the main idea is to stay balanced.
Balance.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of chile, a little bit of sal.
Meat.
We need all that stuff.
Meat too. Claro,
Everything.
What about frying stuff?
Well, everything. I'm talking about everything. But don't overdo it.
No. As a matter of fact, I thought that you just shouldn't do it at all. Man,
well, no, that's impossible. It's easy to say.
I'm glad you're giving me hope because
see,
I can't,
we're human beings.
I can't
We're
throw it
full
all
of
off.
we're full of empty space, and we make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
But the idea
you learn from it.
is to understand why you made those mistakes, right?
Right.
So that
Ideally.
that helps the mind. It
Right.
prepares
so you don't do
the
that
mind.
again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They say that the first time is a mistake, the second time is an error.
Yeah.
So you don't want to commit, make so many errors that you drive yourself crazy.
Damn.
And then you're gonna end up, like I did. But then again, the mind controls just about everything. It controls your chemistry. It controls your heart. It controls your brain.
Okay, I understand that, but the latest thing in my case, in regards to this, it was that it was the main control of everything is the stomach. I'm thinking,
No.
Because it's like if you're all of a sudden appear here on Earth, or you're here if you don't do anything, but you gotta do something, and it starts with eating. Every creature, every human being, the first thing they do is eat in order to stay alive. If you don't eat, no vive, right? And it's a dirty world, so you develop a brain to really feed you better. The idea is to feed. That's why the greed of humanity probably is because they want to eat more. So
supersize it.
So it looks like the stomach is controlling the brain right now, and that's why they're devouring the earth and destroying the planet. But so maybe there's a balance there that we can have to create between the stomach and the brain.
It's balance. It's all
balance.
about balance.
How can we get back to to the brain, I suppose, because it's all stomach right now.
Yeah.
Everybody's just eating.
Well, basically, what we do, the mind tells us to do. Right?
Yeah.
It's going back to the mind.
Yeah.
If the mind says you're not hungry, you're not hungry. But you got to control the mind to tell the stomach, because the stomach says I am hungry.
Yeah.
And then they start fighting. This.
No good.
Yeah, right.
You gotta be at peace with each other.
So you gotta control the mind. The mind is the most powerful thing, that we we possess.
Yeah.
Without the mind, your stomach you're gonna get constipated.
Yeah.
And when you get constipated, what are you gonna do? You gotta eat more fiber.
Yeah.
Right? Fiber is one of the main things that
to make the things flow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you learn.
But meat clogs you up to the max.
Well, like I said, if you eat too much meat, of course you're gonna die.
So just
and we're all gonna die. We know that. What I'm stressing is that we gotta think about balancing our act.
Everything. Yeah.
Everything has balance.
Yeah.
Don't lie too much. Don't BS too much. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we just gotta balance things out.
Because the shit is so disbalanced right now.
Yeah. When we start going like this,
oh man,
look at the political platform that's happening right now.
Yeah.
It's so stressful, that it
makes us sick.
People are insecure, walking around feeling very insecure and scared because they don't know what the future is going to bring. And so and this too will pass. This too will pass.
We learn from it and we adjust to it. Yeah. And it's the daily battles that we have as human beings.
Yeah.
And we made it a little better because it was worse before, perhaps.
Yeah.
It's getting a little better now, as much as the bad is getting worse at the same time. The battle gets bigger.
Yeah. Well, it's in like I was talking to, I forget who I was talking to, but it said, I was saying, well, I'm not actually getting older. I'm getting wiser.
Yeah.
You just. That's what it is.
That's true.
You get wiser.
Yeah. You see more.
Don't try to get old.
I realize I'm being kind of blind at times.
Well, we've all done that. I've been there, done that. But we all blinded by the light.
At that time. But as we get older now, things are more clear. I see things with much more vision.
You select your priorities in a different fashion that you did when you were young person. And of course, that's natural transition of growing up. Now the only thing I have is advice. Somebody asks me something, I'll give you advice. I mean, it's my own personal opinion of what I'm talking about, but at least I can offer you that.
Yes.
And like my paintings, for instance. My paintings are not about violence, destruction. Let's get even. I'm better than you. I try to put those things aside because it's not that important. If we keep saying, "Oh, we're better than you," this is exactly what the white supremacists are doing. Mm-hmm. We're better than you, and if we do the same thing, what do you think is going to happen? You cannot You cannot fight fire with fire. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying to remain passive, but do it in a way in which you're not gonna offend people.
Water. We'll use water this time as some kind of a spiritual water instead of fire.
Yeah. Be spiritual about it. I mean, and think about before you start
reacting.
Yeah, because there's enough hate in the world to go around. And I don't like violence. I don't like hate.
You don't need it.
There's no need. There's no need to hate anything. Mm-hmm. And so I try to live by those rules. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because the way I explain it is through color. Mm-hmm. Because we're visual people, visual artists, right? Mm-hmm. And we explain it in color
and in images. Your images are very spiritual.
Yeah, it comes natural, I think.
Right, it comes from you. That's what you're concentrating. That's what all the badness actually you transform it into goodness because you want to focus on that part. That's what is needed.
Yeah, I think so.
Your life has been like that, and you're gonna be projecting that. And this is good that you're sharing this. We all have something, but the world needs to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
because we are leaving something behind. Something tied us together, like in the movimiento. You, me, and Victor Ochoa and Raúl Jaques, particularly on when we became this group Fuerza from the 90s forward. And I hope that maybe we can get together with Raúl sometime and talk to him almost about his life, but how that connects with us together. Because when you speak, in a way, I feel the same way as you do, or the advice that you're giving, that you give the word, you're giving it to me, and in a sense, I feel like in a way perhaps I am advising you, or just the exchange is important to know that we have lived.
Yeah, exactly. Well, communication is the key to success. Any kind of success that you want in life. If you want to be rich, fine, go get rich.
Yeah, make your art.
Yeah,
whatever
if
it
you
is.
want to remain humble, remain humble. I mean, if you want to be outrageous or whatever it is you want to do it. But it's all about your own personal
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Love at the front.
Yeah, exactly. How are we doing, brother?
Doing good. I wanted to ask you a little bit more about your advice and what you think you would. What advice would you give future generations of artists?
I'm sorry, what?
What advice would you give future generations of artists?
Well, just to stay connected with people. I mean, in when you paint, I guess you got to paint from the heart. Make sure it's legitimate what you're saying. It's like saying words, like a poet, right? Poetry is art, right? Mm-hmm. Painting is art. Dancing is art. What you're doing is art. I mean, you're a technical person. You're working with a camera. That's art. I mean, art is a repetitive function. And as long as you keep repeating yourself doing that, you become good at it. Whatever it is that you might want to try. It might be a carpenter, might be a plumber, an accountant. Even an accountant is an artist. We're all artists. This is what I tell people. Some people say, oh, I wish I were an artist. You are an artist. Except you don't realize that what you do, since you've been doing it for so long, has made you an artist at it. Art is a function. It's not images or colors or whatever it is. Art is a function that the human being repeats and does it over and over and over until it becomes good at it. Regardless, working with numbers, working with computers, working with whatever it is that you do.
How do you know when you're good at it?
Other people will tell you. Don't think that you're gonna say, "Oh, God, I'm so good." You gotta remain as humble as you can. And I think when people start calling you an artist or whatever it is that you do, then you begin to grasp at the idea. But by that time, you're a little older, and then some of the joy is going into the sky. And so when you're young, you like to be, like show business, yeah. And so many people are gonna come and see me sing. I'm so good. And then it only lasts for 2-3 years, right? The most, and then you go back into the crowd. So it's one of those issues, I hope that young people will stick with art, because it's very difficult. I me's not easy to make a living at this. Sometimes you eat, sometimes you don't, and we all know that, because it's not as appreciated as it should be. But then we realize that everything is an art, not just, like I said, not just painting or creating or whatever. Everything is an art.
It's an activity. It's a medium that you use, no? And you work at it, and you get better, and you have proven that, and you've been so productive. We've been seeing in the last few years constantly, and so that's why we want to do a show of you at the Centro Cultural, a solo show. It's coming up in November. I talked to the director yesterday, and I'm going to curate it to help you out, because at first I asked Armando, and he said no, maybe he's not ready for it. Because of your condition, but I am glad that we could work it together, and somehow we're going to make things happen even for the rest of the artists. Chicano artists on Chicano Park. As an example, your example, if people will be able to meet you and you would like to talk to the students about your work, they'll be able to see the video. One of the big accomplishments I think that you can do is really share your art with everybody. And you're productive, you live what you say, but people sometimes haven't heard you. They see your work, they like your work. Like you've been saying, he sells everything. We don't have much to put at the Centro, so we're going to utilize the collectors to come and put their works up, right? We're going to ask them to.
Well,
like to
we'll
show.
try to get some of those. But then again, we can always go to my page and I can print just about anything. You know?
That's true. Why does it have to be the original?
It'll be
it'll
be a lot of prints.
Yeah.
Again, you know, I don't
okay.
hold on to a lot of art.
All right.
You could probably see.
Okay.
You know, especially big canvases.
Yeah.
Where am I going?
But you do have a lot of originals, so we'll have originals and prints.
Some. Yeah. Some, but most of them will be prints. You know,
Okay.
and I can explain what the printing.
Yeah.
You know, the
even
process and all that.
Yeah.
And so you sign those prints, and they're a little more valuable, you know, than just a print with no signature. And so, you know, there's a science to it.
Definitely, the business part so that people not just do the art, but how do they sell it? How do they get it to the public? How do they even know that they're really artists? Because they're young, they don't know. You have to practice all your life. But the older guys with experience can. That's why we're the teachers. We need to be mingling with those young artists.
Exactly.
At the museum, at the gallery, at the Centro.
Yeah.
Amen.
Like, what does it take to be a successful artist? I mean, should you even try to be a successful artist, or should you just do the art and it just comes out? And, you know, where do you draw the line between like making art for profit or making art for art's sake?
Well, that's it's an interesting question because, you know, I never think about, will this piece sell? Will anybody like it? You just do it. And you hoping that somebody will like it, somebody will buy it or whatever. But it's the wrong attitude to have whether you're going to, make profit. You know, if I wanted to make profit, I go sell cars. Which, I've done so many jobs. Life is short, so I've done so many things.
But when people buy your work, it's because they're telling you they really like it. It makes you feel so good. And
Well,
so
yeah.
So if you know that this is selling better than the others, then you might want to do more of that.
No, not necessarily.
Really?
I try not to think about profit. It's not scientific. Like some people do the same thing over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And you see, oh, that's so and so.
Oh, so he sells, so I'm gonna do more.
You see my stuff, you'll never know that I did it. I like to think
New.
Yeah,
Fresh.
new. Something new. The next one is going to be better or different. But if you compare my art, and I don't know if you got a chance to look at some of it, you never do the same thing over and over. I mean, to me, that's boring.
I was just looking at some of your art on the Instagram. It's very colorful. Would you say there are any themes that run throughout your artwork or creative process?
I think, what's the term? When you're different, when you do prolific, in a sense. I like to remain prolific. Like I don't do a lot of this. I might do a series of 10, 20 pieces that are similar. And I think you've seen
Like
that.
kind of like a hummingbird.
Yeah, right. And so I might do a certain series of them, but then I shift. I change. And you can see that. I like to paint realistic, like paint you there. And then from there, I'll shift to do something completely abstract.
Mm-hmm.
So I think being prolific, to me, it pleases me. And I hope it pleases other people as well.
Well, that's freedom to be able to just.
Yeah, freedom. I mean, Picasso, you talk about that. Because if you see two pieces by Picasso, from his realistic period to his cubism, I mean, they're completely different, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
mm-hmm.
this guy
different styles,
did
different
those
techniques,
two. Yeah.
evolution.
Yeah, evolution, exactly. And so, I kind of follow Picasso to a certain degree,
Mm-hmm, me too.
because I like his freedom.
Mm-hmm.
His freedom. and like he used to say, he say, become a good artist, and like I repeated, I said a minute ago, and then you can start breaking the rules. But before you become good, you think you're good. Don't because they'll tear you down, and that's what happened to him. They tore him down. The society there in those days, they were calling
communists.
Yeah, so many different.
But when you say breaking, it sounds negative in a way. We say, how about changing the rules?
Well, it could be interpreted either way.
But I think both work the same way. I think both are the same. When you break it, it's because you're making new rules,
Yeah, like if I do a realistic picture of you right here, that's great. And then if I do a very abstract cubist picture of you, that's breaking the rules. You can break the rules. You're allowed.
Your own rules.
You earn that honor to break the rules.
Break the rules.
But if you haven't earned that honor, don't even try. Because then again, you'll be ridiculed.
Yeah.
And I have been ridiculed a few times. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It just gives me more ganas, to do more.
To keep breaking the rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that answered your question.
That's a good discussion. I was also going to ask you, have there been any Chicano artists that have influenced your work?
Oh yeah, I mean, art. No matter what ideology, again, you have. I try not to concentrate too much on ideology, especially political ideology, because that consumes you. That closes your imagination to a certain degree. It is good to participate in the political process through images. And what I do, like I was a graphic designer for many years, and I did. It did involve me in some ideological way, and so I did portray certain things symbolically that pertain to that ideology. But then again, I don't like to just think, ideologically.
Does Chicano art have to be an ideological concept?
Well, it's an ideology, no matter what. Any kind of movement is an ideological movement.
So just because it says Chicano, it has to be connotated with the movement and
well, a lot of people don't like to use that term. I'll be honest.
The Chicano art?
Yeah, Chicano. Some people get scared. Oh, Chicano, especially in the early days. You're a Chicano. Some people. So it was misunderstood. Basically, what we're doing, like I like Chicano art too, and I explain it this way. When I did that sign at Barrio Logan, that's an ideology, ideological representation, but symbolically, I was using the beautiful parts of our past, of our culture, of our ancestry, right? So that's what I like to do. I like to look at the ancestors and see what they did and see what they left us and beautify it. Use it in a beautiful way. I don't like this violent thing. That's not my nature. That's not me. If I portray something, I'm gonna portray it as beautiful and as colorful as I possibly can, because that is our true heritage. We thought color, we spoke color. We spoke poetically. There was the Nahuatl language was a poetic thing. There was no restrictions at that time. You spoke poetically, and so everybody could understand it, not just the kids or the adults, but everyone. So that's the beauty of our ancestry. We're very rich. If you look at food, for instance, Mexican food has been influenced by the rest of the world. You find in Mexican food, you find Chinese, Japanese, Indian, every corner of the world. That's why it's so good. That's why everybody likes it. I don't know anybody who doesn't like Mexican food. And so that is a comparison to what I'm talking about. Food is color. And so, we utilize the same science to portray our imagery.
So it seems like Chicano art, for the most part, likes to go back to its ancestry, to its prophecies, and kind of update that in its artwork. generations kind of like rediscovering that.
Yeah, it's to a certain degree, that is true. So what's happening now, in the old days when Mario and I were around, there wasn't too many students, or young teenagers that were into what we were doing. They got a little apprehensive when we mentioned, or saw some kind of image, when we started at the colleges, people who were becoming aware of their potential, of their proud of their history. And so I would say not only Chicanos, but everybody should be proud of their history. But that doesn't mean that you have to go and beat up some, or tell somebody else, hey, I'm better than you because, you're white, you came from Europe, or whatever. Don't start insulting. Just show the true heritage of yourself, the spirit. Mm-hmm. There's no reason to be insulting. Look what's happening in the news nowadays. People saying, well, we're better than you, and this guy saying, I'm better than you. There's no need for that.
Politics.
Yeah, it's so, it's so politics, and it boggles the mind. It clouds the mind, my mind. Of course, all this is my personal opinion. Maybe some people disagree with me, some people will agree with me, but my own personal opinion is I don't like this thing. We live in a world. I just sent for my DNA results. I got them last week. Guess what? My DNA results. I'm human.
Human?
Yeah.
Homo sapien?
Yeah. And I'm human.
We're earthlings.
Yeah. I'm no different than the guy that owns the liquor store down the street, or the guy that runs the fish store.
Different shades of humans.
We're all human. Mm-hmm. We're all human. So when we start dissecting, we go back to tribalism, we start dissecting tribes, that's when we start creating friction amongst each other.
But Chicanos is about the only one denomination, the title given to a group of people that accepts people of all different colors. You see, Chicano has roots of Mexican roots, but he accepts the indigenous roots. Therefore, it's a diverse type of people. It's a mestizo, but we have white, Chinese, just like the food. We have all those other colors. Mm-hmm. That's why we, as mixed people, that's why they call us the cosmic race, because we're no longer white, black, yellow, or red. We're all those combined.
Yeah.
And you're not going to say, no, I'm really white because I came out light, or they call me black because I came out dark. It's crap, right? Everything else is laid on it. The core is that we're human beings, from our father, the sun, to our mother, Pachamama. Mm-hmm. And we are artists, and we transmit that in our art. We are very sensitive about the essence of our ancestors. Human ancestors, not just Aztec or Mayans or Inca ancestors, no? Or white ancestors. Because we got white ancestors too.
No, you're absolutely right, Mario. It's we are the last race. That's where the name raza comes from. We are the last race produced on Earth. When all the bodies, this is when we met. This is where the cavemen and the Chinese actually met.
Yeah.
And that's where we come from.
Yeah, east and west.
Yeah.
Right.
I got a painting of that.
Yeah. Point it out.
Huh?
You're going to point it out.
Yeah, it's in my bedroom.
Okay.
Because it's very big, I can't fit it.
So, what do you want to say to future generations? What do you want your legacy to be? Let's think about the future.
Well, one of the things that I stress the most, because I never went to school. I got out of high school and that was the end for me. I never went back to school. But I would say, to young people, and I say it to my grandkids, stay in school. Educate yourself. So you don't be struggling. Like I struggle like crazy, to get anywhere. And I'm still struggling, right? I mean, we're all struggling. But if you get an education, then you'll know more than how to get there quicker and in a more civilized way. So stay in school. Whatever you like, it doesn't really matter. Stay in school and try to be kind to others. I mean, what else can I say? I mean, just be good, be kind to one another, and you know, just remember, take care of number one before you take care of number two.